Welcome back to Breakthrough with Patricia Murugami. Based on our last request, we asked you to tell us what you would like us to speak about, because we really want to speak into your life, we want to speak to your hearts, and we want to see how we can elevate you from places where you may be feeling stuck. So welcome to the Breakthrough Courageous Conversations. And to start us off on this process, I have been humbled to welcome a business leader in her own right, a mentor of many, a creative, a wife, a mom, a sister, Faith Nkatha. You are the creative force behind Faithology. But even as I speak about you, I think the best person to speak about you is you. Just kind of just tell us a little bit about who is Faith.
Faith is a born-again Christian. I love God. I used to have a black diary before I got saved. And I'd just write all these things I was so miserable about. It's like I used to look at life, with a blind on. And then I got saved and that blind was taken off. Then suddenly I started having big dreams. That's when I started dreaming about media. I've done both TV and radio. In banking as well, just representing different brands, being able to strategize as well. And now where I'm working for a technology company, same thing, just representing the organization.
What has your experience been? And what would you say is one of the things that has liberated you with respect to how to actually strike the integration, more than the balance, between life and work?
Being that I'm a choleric, you easily just go for the drive and it feeds you the money, the promotions, the accolades in terms of people going like, wow, Faith, you do that, and people going like, you're too young to be here, and all these things get to your head. So you just keep going for that and you prioritize that. And I think so many times, so many women don't want to accept that, but that's the truth. Till today, I tell some people that and they're like, I can't believe that, But I didn't even think there was anything wrong because I'm like, I'm needed at work, they can't think I'm missing. I have people who laugh at me till today, they're like, Faith, do you ever get sick? Because you know what, you have a killer headache, you just take strong painkillers and you show up at work. You're not feeling well, you go at night, you don't go during the day because you're needed in the office and you have to be seen. So I've lived through all that and it's scary, and I remember when I was about to have my fast, was also around the time I was, they were about to do promotions and I'd make it to a head of department. And I remember thinking to myself, gosh, should I even tell my boss I'm pregnant? Because I'm like, gosh, it will probably affect, So now what will I do? Will I think about this baby or will I think about the promotion? And I think till the second baby really is when it hit home, because it was a tough environment. I find out so much later that I'm pregnant, which scared me because I think I did 3 months without knowing I'm pregnant because my pregnancies are so easy. I remember going a week without seeing my son because I leave before he wakes up and I'm back when he's asleep. And my husband asking me, you don't think there's anything wrong with that? I'm like, no, it's just for now, we get this, and then I can go back to that. But what we never remember as women is that this window closes, these kids grow, they don't also wait, a pregnancy will not wait for you to get that promotion. A child will not say, okay, I'll continue being 3 years old till you get this done. If they are to start walking, they'll start walking whether you're there or not. If they're to start saying mama, they'll start saying it whether you're there or not. And one day, this brought tears to my eyes. My son was playing, what do they call it? We used to call it mother when we were growing up. They were playing home. And so I walk under, the blanket into his house. And I'm like, what are you having? He's like, I'm making tea and mandazi. I'm like, oh, fun. Who cooked it? And then he says the auntie, now the nanny. So I'm like, not mommy. He goes like, mommy doesn't cook. I was like, sorry, mommy doesn't cook. I just got out of his little house. I went and wiped my tears and I was like, this has to change. And so now, and that's what I was telling you, it's a blessing to be able to talk from the point of being there where I never cooked. And my husband was always saying, Faith's chapatis are so good, but we haven't had them in since we got married. You know what I mean? And to be able to do a bit more. So what I decided to do was to be more intentional. And I always say that when you come home from work, be the best stay-at-home mom ever. The last 3 or 4 months, I've been able to make dinner every day at home. Wow. and to make breakfast, because breakfast is even so much easier to make. You just need to wake up slightly early and do that. And so I've been able to do that. And the other day my son was like, "Mommy, what are you cooking for us today?" I'm like, Mommy is what was cooking. I'm like, oh, awesome. Pick the few things that work. I tend to be a bit more tired in the evening, so if I'm not able to wash them in the evening, thank God it's boys, so I can tell them, just sleep the way you are, I'll wash you in the morning. So the nanny also doesn't wash my kids. I know a friend of mine says, Faith, when they're old, they won't remember you washed them. But for me, it's not whether they remember or not, but it's also to be able to correct them. When you see them do something wrong, the lessons that you learn through these small things that you do with them. You have to remember that our kids don't want quality time only.
No.
It has to be quantity as well. And so do our spouses. The thing about us is that we'll pray about protection for our children. We'll pray for God to bless the work of our husband's hands, but we don't pray for our homes. We don't pray for God to give you strength to be able to wake up and make the breakfast. Pray that God will give you strength to make dinner, even though it's hard and you're tired, and he's able to. And then you find suddenly you're like, what did I even used to do with this time,
I have heard a lot of my friends and women in my network saying, I can't sit at the Obs and Gain. I can't sit there waiting in the queue. Who does that, And I'm like, I did. Because when you get to a point where you realize that this life one is carrying is even more important than the work that you're kind of stressing out about, you realize that it's time to shift priorities. I wish you the very best in growing in the 4 L's of life: love, leadership, and legacy.